237 WGN. John Williams in the Showcase Studio on Michigan Avenue, looking at a beautiful but bitterly cold sky downtown. The flags are flapping, and I am too. All right. Healing the Enemy is that book we were talking about a little while ago, Hypnotic Nights in Baghdad by Larry Garrett. Larry is a Chicago area hypnotherapist. Lectured at Wright College, taught over there for 20-some years.
That's right.
An author now, and also still practicing hypnotherapy, right?
I do. I practice hypnosis every day, and it's the biggest part of my life.
Get a load of this, too, just for the fun of it. You told me off the air. I'll share it with the audience on the air, because I like synchronicities or coincidences, hopefully they bode well. Mm-hmm. 2 shows before Bob Collins left the afternoon show on WGN to do the morning show, right. You were his guest.
I was. Mm-hmm.
And now 2 weeks before I'm leaving. Steve, are you writing this down? I mean, how can that not be a good thing? And now just a few days before I go to take Spike's show, unbeknownst to me, you're the guest.
An incredible coincidence. There's a synchronicity. You're right.
Can you hypnotize me to be as successful as Bob Collins?
Well, I don't know. I used to hypnotize him a lot. I used to hypnotize him probably at least once every 2 weeks.
Well, now, don't speak out of school here, Doctor.
No, we don't. It's not.
Did you guys share on the air?
Oh, yeah, we sure did. In fact, the first time I hypnotized him, he came to see me as kind of a skeptical individual. And he said, well, somebody called up, I guess, and had mentioned about him quitting smoking. So I hypnotized him, and he quit smoking. And what he did with his afternoon show, he dragged it on for 3 weeks. I remember it well. And he'd say, if I don't smoke for 3 weeks, I'll tell you how I did it. So every day he would say, I haven't smoked now for 3 days. I haven't smoked for 4 days. And so he was building it up. And then 3 weeks later, he had me on his program to discuss it. And from then on, every time he would talk about being hypnotized and how effective it was and how it helped him. Never helped him lose weight, but it helped him with one of the other areas.
Well, he would probably agree with you on that. I guess motivation is something.
He was about it on the air a
truly
lot,
motivated to stop smoking.
Yes, he was.
I think he was less so to lose weight. I mean,
right. He liked eating.
Well, he seemed healthy and he seemed okay with that, but the smoking bothered him and he licked it. Wow.
But it is a synchronicity that I'm on your afternoon show just before you're going to go to morning. I just thought that was a wild one.
Boy, I'm just thinking of all the things I want you to help me do, and we don't have time for all of that. Look at this book you wrote. I mean, I'm going to talk to you about that, but let's jump into this right now. Healing the Enemy. This is a book that you've published about your hypnotic nights in Baghdad, where you were working with Uday Hussein.
That's right.
Okay. As a hypnotherapist?
Yes.
What year was this? 1990?
2001. September. I was there September 11th. 2001.
You were there 9/11/2001.
I was there 9/11/2001. Right.
2001.
Yes.
And under what capacity?
Hypnotizing Uday. I was there twice.
Did you know you were going over there to hypnotize?
Well, no. The first time I didn't. The first time was in April, and all I knew was that there was a businessman in Iraq that wanted to be hypnotized. The National Guild of Hypnotists in New Hampshire referred his neurologist over to my office. They said, well, talk to Larry Garrett. He might go.
So wait a minute. They don't have any hypnotists in Iraq?
They do. They had 2 hypnotists work with them from Iraq, and they had a hypnotist from France work with them.
And he didn't like that. He wanted somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to those guys.
I was just going to say,
back.
You need to know what happened to the other guys before you agree to the gig. So then they say, okay, we're going to America, this national organization. Right. You know them, and they said, hey, Larry, would you mind coming over?
That's right. That's right.
So you get on a plane not knowing exactly who this client is.
Right. This is about a month from the time I'm speaking to his neurologist till I leave. Yes, I needed to contact our government, and we had to go through all kinds of things.
Did you think it was a little curious that you'd be summoned to go to Iraq of all places?
Well, no, I think not.
This is pre-war, so
yeah, it's pre-war. It was pre 9/11 even. I think that I've been called and. I've had many experiences that are very different in hypnosis. I've hypnotized murderers before. I've been to Cook County Jail. I hypnotized a large murder case about 25 years ago because a person couldn't remember killing somebody. So I've worked with very different areas of hypnosis, yes.
Okay, so you get on the plane, you fly over there, then what happens?
Well, actually, I couldn't fly over there. There was a no-fly zone at the time, so I could only fly to Jordan. And, all kinds of things were going wrong. I missed my plane in Paris, to go to Jordan. I had to wait there a day. We had 20 people waiting for me in Jordan. And so then we drove across the desert in the middle of the night from Amman, Jordan to Baghdad. And so that was a 10-hour drive to go through the desert because there was no fly zone at the time. And then when I got to Baghdad, when I got to the border of Iraq and Jordan, we had to be detained for a couple hours because I was a day late, and they had all kinds of rules there, as you can imagine at that time. They still do. And so we were detained a couple hours at the border. And so I'm kind of curious, who is this person that is creating such a fuss here about me going there? And so I asked the person I was with, I says, who is this? And he pointed up at Saddam's picture, and he says, his eldest son. Well, now, of course, I'm in Iraq, I'm in the border, and I don't go home. But
you can't say no thank you now, so you're in.
Yeah, I mean, even our FBI said, well, it's okay, you'll be safe, go there.
But wait, but this is April.
This is April 2001. Okay. Mm-hmm. We don't know about 9/11 yet.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so did you know? I didn't know anything about them until after 9/11. I didn't know really that Uday and it was a Qusay were these terror. Talk about terrorists. They were torturers. They were murderers.
I am so excited to hear you say that, because when I tell people I didn't know that, then they say, why would you hypnotize somebody like him? I would hypnotize anybody, John, to feel better about life. If I could go there, I mean, I had this fantasy, as I imply in my book, that I had this fantasy that I was going to bring our governments together. Who am I to bring them together? But I thought,
Okay, so wait a minute. But then was he injured and needed, or did he want to quit smoking? Why were you going over there?
No, that's a good question.
I have this problem. I kill people. I want you to hypnotize me so I stop my bad habit.
He had been shot, and he had 15 bullets in his body, and there was an attempted assassination of him. So he had, for 3 years, been bedridden, unable to walk. The fourth year, through physical therapy, he was walking, but he was walking with a hesitation on his left foot. So with a lot of physical therapy and a lot of treatments, he had been shot in many areas of his body, but his lower left leg had been rebuilt, and so that left leg was not working well. And his medical staff felt it was all within his own mind.